Oh, I can't believe I'm doing this again. Okay, today I'm going to be reading very seriously. I swear, this is going to be a very serious reading of the OG Jane the Killer creepypasta. I think I'm going to read like the expert here. The expert excerpt. That's what you call those? This story confirmed by, oh god, here we go. Fearroof the Black Wolf, I think that's how you pronounce the first part of it, or Mr. Angry Dog, that's easier. Mr. Angry Dog is the real, actual story of Jane the Killer. The other story, who has Jane's last name as Arkansas, is a fan-made and plagiarized version that only became more popular or known than the original. Okay, so I'm reading the OG Jane the Killer creepypasta. It's the what's it called? Born of Science, Jane the Killer. the picture. I never knew. Here's a little fun fact about me. I never knew that Jane had a catchphrase. You know what? Some might judge me, but I think the phrase "Don't go to sleep, you won't wake up" kind of goes hard. You know what I mean? Kind of goes hard. I mean, me saying it like that really just doesn't give it enough justice. But hey, it kind of goes hard. Just a little bit. Come on. A little bit. Okay. I'm going to stop doing that. Okay. Let's just start reading the story. I just wanted to give the context of it, since this is, I don't know what else I'm going to do for the narration. 2002 was never a good year for Jane Richardson. Is that not good? 2002 was never a good year for Jane Richardson. Fuck it, I'm gonna do that one. Losing both of her parents to Jeff the Killer, tackling a job at IHOP as a waitress, with barely enough money to get by on, and being both mother and father to her little sister Jessie, who was 13 years old during that time. Jane's aunt Samantha Eagle graciously helped out her nieces as far as money was concerned, so it wasn't a total loss for Jane. After all, Samantha was Paula's sister, and after her death, Samantha felt it was right to take care of her sister's daughters. One day, while Jane was working her usual shift at IHOP, and on her break, she came across an ad in the newspaper sponsored by her local blood bank. In the ad, it said that the person would be paid $150 for their distribution, but they had to be a really healthy blood type in order to qualify. $150 just for giving blood? Was this too good to be true? Jane thought it would be a good I already fucked up. Jane thought it would be good to take that money and pay off her month's rent. So why not? After all, she did have clean blood. Without hesitation, Jane wrote the address of the local blood bank down, plus the phone number, finished out her orange juice, and went back to work. Another waitress, Alexis, who was covering for Jane, noticed her mood was more optimistic and appeared more pleasant, as usual refilling another customer's drinks. Well, someone is really happy today. I guess I'm giving Alexis that voice. Wow, that's her tone. Why wouldn't I be? I found an easy way to pay off my month's rent. $150 is your month's rent? That's kind of cheap. Right? I mean, why am I... Okay. Sorry, I just needed to ponder that. Why wouldn't I be? Okay, this is gonna be her voice. Okay, guys? Pay attention. If I fuck up in the middle of it, you can call me out on it. Why wouldn't I be? I found an easy way to pay off my month's rent, Jane replied, pouring a fresh cup of coffee for a random man. Thanks, the man said. Oh yeah? What? Alexis asked. The blood bank is offering $150 for anyone giving blood. You had to have healthy blood, Jane said. Wow, I never heard of that, Janie. Usually they'd pay you $25, Alexis replied, refilling a customer's soda. Somehow, they must have made a few changes, Jane said, chuckling. You gonna swing by? Alexis asked. After I leave here tonight, Jane replied. Jane and her friend worked on through the night until the atmosphere of this IHOP was calm, laid back, and less rushed. The lights of the shopping center where the restaurant was where the restaurant was shined through the windows. Random cars on the highway passed by in the distance. Motorists who were looking for a bite to eat, getting off work, or going home set the mood for this particularly lazy California night. KTLA News 5 was giving a report of the LAPD still pursuing Jeffrey Woods, aka Jeff the Killer, the one responsible for the murder of Jane's parents. The police commissioner said that they were having a hard time catching the suspect and had to enlist the aid of the FBI, CIA, and Department of Justice in their manhunt. Jesus Christ, it's every fucking federal law reinforcement they got. The FBI, CIA, and Department of Justice? It would make Jane feel better to not only have Jeffrey captured, but wiped off the face of the earth entirely. I mean, he has to have a Jeff sentence? Sorry, death sentence. Jeff sentence. Sorry, that came out. One of the customers in the IHOP that Jane noticed was a man in his late 40s with short brown hair, a goatee, sunglasses, and wearing a black three-piece suit and tie. Crisply pressed. He's definitely from the FBI. I don't know why. I just kind of get that feeling. He looked like Walter White with hair. Another distinguishing feature about this man was a Bluetooth earpiece. Sorry. The mental image of Walter White with hair was funny to me. Sorry, I forgot about this part. Another distinguishing feature about this man was a Bluetooth. Sorry, fuck. A Bluetooth earpiece hanging on his left ear. He's definitely from the FBI. Who has a Bluetooth earpiece just hanging out their ear? His left ear lobe. He browsed through the menu and surveyed the employees. He paid close attention to Jane, almost as if she was a famous person. That's uncomfortable. I'd be like, what the fuck are you staring at? I wouldn't say that, but I'd be like, really uncomfortable. You know, if I had the balls, I'd be like, the fuck you staring at? You lost your ass in my face or something? But I have anxiety, so I'd probably want to start crying. Hello, sir. What can I get you tonight? Jane asked, smiling. T-bone. Why? I'm Southern accent. Fuck it. You know what? I'm indulging myself. T-bone steak and eggs, the man said. How do you want your steak? Well done. Eggs over easy. Well done. Over easy. Oh, I just wanted to let you know that we have a new pomegranate pancake syrup. Something I happen to make in my free time, Jane replied, taking the man's order. Wow, that sounds like a winner. You made the syrup? The man asked. Well, yeah, Jane said cheerfully. You got a lot of talent. You didn't even taste the syrup to know if it's good. Okay? The man replied. Sorry. That's mean. I'd be like, he definitely wants to butter me up. Jane went back into the kitchen to get the man's food prepared. While he was waiting, he fumbled with a button on his earpiece. We found the perfect woman, sir. We found the perfect woman, sir. The man said, speaking at a low volume. This man was actually an FBI agent. Agent Marcus East. Marcus East was still hunting down Jeff the Killer. Despite the LAPD's futile efforts and Agent East's determination, he was going to stop at nothing until Jeff was captured. Excellent. Gather the other agents for next week. We know of a way to go after Jeffrey Woods. I don't know why I gave him that voice. The big boss man, sir. Understood. Jane brought out East's meal and a fresh cup of coffee. Thank you very much, ma'am, Agent East said pleasantly. You're certainly welcome, sir, Jane replied. An hour later, Jane clocked out and left for the night. I'll see you tomorrow, Alexis, Jane said. See you, Janie. I'm pretty sure I changed their voices through this, but... Potato, potato, okay? After 30 minutes of being on the road, James? Who the fuck is James? Jake, James, I'm sorry, I can't. James. Jane came across the blood bank. She expected the building to be closed for the night, but oddly it was open. This must have been a 24-hour deal. Who the hell? Okay, whatever. The outside of the building looked like total shit, but the interior was really pristine and sterile, similar to a doctor's office. Jane approached the receptionist of the desk and announced she was there to give blood. Good evening, ma'am. How can I help you? The receptionist asked in a warm, friendly tone, smiling. I came across your ad saying that you would pay anyone $150 for simply giving blood. Wonderful. What's your name, dear? The receptionist asked. Jane Richardson. Okay, Miss Richardson. You go down the hall, second door on your right, the receptionist said. Do I have to sign any papers or anything? No. Oh, thank God. Jane said, laughing heartily. The receptionist laughed along with Jane. I have your cash ready for you when you get done, honey. Honey, the receptionist said, smiling. Jane did indeed have healthy, clean blood. O negative was her blood type. After what seemed like hours, only a few minutes, the doctor who extracted Jane's blood put a bandage over her spot and wished her a good night. Out front, the receptionist was going through files on her computer when she saw Jane. Man, that needle hurt like hell. Sorry, that's her voice. I need to clock in on her voice, Jane said, chuckling. Your arm's gonna feel sore for a day or two, the receptionist said. Tell me about it. Okay, here's your cash, Miss Richardson, $150. This'll take care of my month's rent, Jane replied. Behind on your rent, huh? The receptionist asked. A lot of stuff has been going on. Me losing both of my parents and all, Jane said. Oh, I'm so sorry, honey. It's just me and my little sister. I have to be both mom and dad for her. Well, my condolences. Go out to you and your sister, Jane, the receptionist said sympathetically. I hope that was sympathetic. Thanks. That means a lot. You have a wonderful night, sweetie. Stay safe. You too. The following morning, Jane was able to pay her month's rent and wouldn't have to worry about it until next month. While working the day shift at IHOP, Jane got a call from the blood bank she visited just the other night. What could it be? Thank you for calling IHOP. Now serving a pomegranate pancake syrup and our new stuffed French toast. This is Jane Richardson. How may I help you? Okay, what am I going to do for Beth Williams? Miss Richardson? This is me. This is she. Sorry. My name is Beth Williams, one of the doctors at the Biomedics Blood Bank. We are wondering if you could come by next week to give another sample of your blood. Okay. We will pay you $10,000. $10,000. I'd be like, oh my god. I'd give you a liter of my blood. Okay, that's an exaggeration. A liter is too much, but $10,000 for giving your blood. Jen, I keep saying. Sorry. First it was James, now it's Jen. Jane went silent for a few seconds. 10 grand for another sample of her blood? Was this for real? Miss Richardson, are you there? Sorry, I forgot what voice I made for her. Oh, yeah, I'm here. You said, 10,000, right? Right? Yes, ma'am. Okay, I'll see you next week. Thank you so much, Miss Richardson. We will see you soon. Bye. Bye bye. Hangs up phone. 1 week. I don't know how to do SpongeBob voice. Think I can insert that in editing? Me not wanting to edit this. 1 week later. I don't know. I don't know how to do it. 1 week later. It was the start of a beautiful day in the city of Angels. Angels? Sorry, can I start that over? It was the start of a beautiful day in the city of Angels. Jane returned from the biometric blood bank to distribute her blood and score an easy 10 grand. She wouldn't have to worry about money troubles ever again. But why was Biomedics going to pay Jane $10,000? She couldn't figure it out herself. But it meant what? But if it meant that Jesus, I'm struggling at this one. Holy. But if it meant to put that money into an account and making sure her and her sister were financially secure, then why not? Jane saw the same receptionist from last time, and still remembered her, and the doctor who drew her blood was there as well. When it was all over, Jane claimed her money, stuffed it into her wallet, and was on her way. Just as she was about to get into her car, a couple of well-dressed women approached her. One of them flashed her CIA badge and announced, "Jane Richardson? Yeah? Agent Tanya Margulis, CIA." "What's going on?" Jane asked, puzzled. "You didn't do anything wrong, Miss Richardson. Don't worry. But I was wondering if you could come with us." "Where at, exactly?" "You'll see. Come with us," the second agent said. I'm not giving them different voices. You know what? Fuck it. I don't care. Maybe I could have given her a funny voice. Next person, I'm gonna give them a goofy voice, okay? Without hesitation, Jane got into the... Sorry, I'm laughing. If you didn't watch the video I made reading the killer one, you're not gonna understand me laughing. Because the voice I gave Randy... killed my vocal cords, but it's so stupid. Maybe I'll do it. You know what? It'll be a surprise. Flip a 50-50. Maybe I'll do a Randy voice for the next person that comes on. Without hesitation, Jane got into the limo with the other agents. Where were they taking her? Why did they choose Jane? Was there any significance? The two women were taking Jane to the CIA headquarters in Los Angeles, and they were going to explain everything to her as soon as they arrived. 90 minutes later, the limo arrived outside of the headquarters. Why did they have to go pick her up in a limo? To make her think it's, nice and make her feel like, oh, wow, this is so fancy. They're taking me in the limo. Wow. So, oh my god, they're taking me in a limo? I'm definitely going anywhere if you take me in a limo. What kind of girl do you think Jane is? Jane noticed there were also a U.S. Marshals and FBI van parked outside. I'm telling you, they called every fucking, law enforcement. The FBI, the fucking Marshals, the CIA, the state police. You know what I mean? Jesus. I'm surprised they don't have, the SWAT team on. What was this all about? Jane couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. No matter how many times she asked the agent, it was always the same. That information is classified. Jane wanted answers. She wanted to know what was going on. Once inside, Jane was greeted by a refreshing cold breeze that seemed to be coming from the central air units. It was the hottest day ever. Jane was led to a room that looked like a police interrogation area. There inside was another male agent. Jane sat. Welcome, Jane. Wait, what was the voice I gave this Sarah? Welcome, Jane. We've been expecting you. That's his voice. The agent said. Do you mind telling me what the hell is going on? Jane asked, very suspiciously. Not at all. First off, I just want to say, I'm sorry for the loss of your parents. I know how much you love them. I take it you heard that the LAPD has been having a difficult time pursuing your parents' assailant. Jeffrey Woods. Jeff the killer? Exactly. We also got in touch with the FBI, U.S. Department of Justice, and the U.S. Marshals, and they are gonna see to it that Jeff is stopped once and for all. But what does this have to do with me? After receiving word of your blood transfer at Biomedics, it is apparent that you are the perfect blood type, and may be the key to stopping Jeffrey Woods. So, let me get this straight, Jane said, trying to piece together what the agent said. After I gave my blood, you and these other agent guys want to use me to stop that son of a bitch, Jeff? Yes, ma'am. All you have to do is meet with our doctors. Just meet up with the doctors? Jane asked. Yes, ma'am. And then I'm free to go? In due time, I promise. Well, okay, Jane said, hesitantly. After she was led into another room, one doctor did an eye scan of her ice blue eyes after giving her a vision test, reading an eye chart, etc. The scan of her pretty blue eyes was stored in the computer. Next doctor to examine her was a cardiologist. Following a few brief questions such as her date of birth, height, weight, that sort of thing, Jane had her blood pressure checked, which was 120/80, the normal blood pressure for a healthy young lady. Very good! The cardiologist said. He checked her heartbeat and asked her to breathe when using his stethoscope. The cardiologist wrote down everything. Next, a general practitioner was there to examine Jane, checking her eyes, ears, throat, testing her reflexes, you name it. Jane passed with flying colors. Jane thought that she was going to leave this building with no problem and be on her way, but when she was led down a hallway by two guards, she noticed in one of the rooms stretchers lined up with blankets covering the bodies. A total of 25 people. All young women. Why all women? That's my question. They're like, how are we gonna defeat Jeff? Well, we're gonna do a super serum like Captain America, but they're all gonna be women because Jeff's a man. So to defeat him, you gotta do the opposite of him, which is a woman. I don't know what they were thinking. Ted, what was going on here? She started to get freaked out at the sight of the lifeless women who haven't been disposed of, and anxiously asked where the guards were taking her. They refused to answer. So out of instinct, she began to assault the guards, incapacitating one of them. Her fighting skills she learned from Mary's father, Sheriff Nick, really paid off. In the midst of the brutal melee, Jane was tackled and sedated by one of the doctors. Her world began to blur and fade black. Where am I? Jane asked, coming to. She was strapped to a chair similar to what you'd see in a dentist's office. Around her, the room looked like an operating theater, bathed in bright white lights, which gave the room a clean appearance. Jane couldn't see anybody because all that was in the room with her, facing towards her, was a two-way mirror. She felt something on her forehead that was similar to a headband, but saw electrodes and wires running away from her. Her hands and feet were secured in place. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't break free. A few seconds later, she heard an unknown female voice on the intercom. It must have been that of an agent, researcher or scientist. Miss Richards, son, can you hear me? The voice asked, almost sympathetically. Who's there? It's me, Dr. Bette Williams from Biomedics. I didn't want to have you find out that hard way, but some of these agents and government officials tell me you have a very healthy blood type,
and from what I could gather, they were correct. If you're wondering, it was me who sedated you. I did not drag you into the room you're in, dear, I can assure you. I'll be standing by to monitor your vitals. I'll be standing by to monitor your vitals through this process, Dr. Williams said.
What are you talking about?
Jane, Agent Margulis said, we brought you here because you're the perfect blood type and also the candidate for the following experiment that's been funded by the US government, totaling in at $6.9 million. We have received word from the LAPD that they have had trouble in capturing the suspect responsible for the death of your parents, Bruce and Paula, and we, along with the FBI Department of Justice and the US Marshals, agreed to help in the capture of Jeffrey Woods. If you haven't noticed, there's an intravenous needle in your arm. One of the scientists will be bringing in the serum to replace with your blood. This serum is classified, but it will ultimately help you in getting revenge on the one who took your parents' lives.
Just then, a scientist and doctor came into the room, prepping Jane. The scientist came in with the liquid hate. The container was a gallon. Wait, liquid hate? Isn't that like a Macaroons liquid? I just made that connection. I'm stupid. The container was a gallon and a quarter with a biohazard symbol on it. The light from overhead casted in the liquid, giving off a pretty glowing purple. The doctor who came in was there to make sure everything was ready and to monitor Jane's safety. He assured her she had nothing to be afraid of, and that she was going to be okay afterwards. This made Jane feel somewhat better. A part of her was scared to death, but the other half of her showed no fear, and she was ready. The doctor put the intravenous tube into Jane's arm. The one tube ran into a container that would collect Jane's blood, and shipped to the American Red Cross for patients who had the same blood type as Jane, and to receive a healthy blood transfusion. The other tube was attached to the container holding the liquid hate. So in a way, this was just like an embalming fluid prep setup, but with an experimental liquid. And a live person, despite being reassured by medical personnel that she had nothing to be scared of. A single tear ran down her face. The process began. The voices that Jane heard, the scientists, the government officials, FBI, CIA agents, US Marshals, researchers, began to sound distant. If something were to happen to her, she would see her deceased parents on the other side of the two-way mirror. Doctors were monitoring Jane's vitals, her heart, and brainwaves, etc. Her heart was beating at a steady pace, showing the EKG beeping, the readings of the EEG showing normal brain activity. Jane saw her blood being drained slowly. This didn't bother her at first, but as it began to increase, she felt very weak and drowsy, almost like she was being smothered by an unknown person with an ether-soaked rag. And in the next few minutes, Jane's surroundings began to disappear. First, in a state of unconsciousness and weakness from loss of blood in her body. Then, dead. The heart monitor in the other room flatlined. The EKG went flat. For that moment, Jane was clinically dead. Jane felt a gentle voice, familiar. Fuck. I messed that up, didn't I? Jane felt a gentle, familiar hand on her face, caressing her. It was her mother, Paula. She opened her eyes, and despite being deceased for over a few minutes, she was still in the room. Her father, Bruce, was there as well. Mom? Don't be afraid, Janie. Mommy's here. Paula cooed sweetly. She saw Jane's eyes welling up with tears and held her daughter in her arms, tightly, comforting her. Dad? Bruce gave Jane a kiss on her head as she joined in to hold his child as well. Jane was weeping as she was glad to see her parents. You're going to be okay, kiddo. You're going to be just fine, Bruce said softly, calming his daughter down. He was in full military dress, his medals shining in the light of the room Jane was in. His uniform was crisply pressed,
his short hair shiny and brushed back, almost as if he was going to attend a military ball. "What's going on?" Jane asked. "Well, since those doctors emptied your body, you went out like a light. But me and Daddy are gonna stay here until you come alive, honey," Paula said in her soft-spoken voice, her words soothing Jane's heart. "One thing I could never stand about IV needles is when someone can't find a vein to put in. That happened to me when I was a little kid, and I suffered sepsis, and I felt like frickin' Swiss cheese. That old hat couldn't put the needle in right. You could have known that having experience as a doctor and a PhD doesn't come with vision." "Who would have known?" "Sorry," Bruce said, smiling, laughing. This made Jane smile and giggle as she laughed at her daddy. She knew for the longest time that her dad was very silly and made her laugh without even trying, and was still a goofball in the afterlife. That's also what Paula loved about her husband. Jane's parents stayed with her until the liquid hate was administered. "Your father couldn't stand needles being poked into him at all, honey. But getting like an allergy shot or vaccine, that didn't bother him. It was an extravenous needle that got on his nerves. Even when he was little, he fainted at the sight of a big needle," Paula said, chuckling. "Hey, that thing was big!" Bruce replied comically. "I know I'm gonna feel sore and stiff when I get up," Jane said. "Considering the chair you're in, I wouldn't be surprised, honey," Paula replied. "I think tonight you should take a nice hot bath with some Epsom salts," Bruce said, caressing Jane's hair. "Good idea," Jane replied. "You just remember one thing, my little Janey baby. If you ever need me or Daddy, we'll be right here," Paula said, pointing to Jane's heart. "And we'll come live in your dreams, sweetheart," Bruce added, smiling. "We are so proud of you. Jessie's lucky to have such a sweet sister. We will always be watching over you, love," Paula said sweetly. "We love you, Jane," Bruce said. "Oh, the purple stuff is about finished," Paula said, pointing to the liquid hate that was halfway empty. "I love you, Mommy. I love you, Daddy," Jane said, giving her parents a hug before they returned to heaven. "We love you too, Janey," Paula replied, giving her daughter one final kiss goodbye. Jane slowly regained consciousness and came to the EKG and EEG roared back to life, showing heart and brain activity. Her vitals appeared normal. As her vision adjusted, she saw she was still in the operating theater. When she looked down, she noticed her hands were now ivory white. She was pale like a corpse. She screamed over the loss of her natural skin pigment, and saw that her once bright platinum blonde hair was now coal black. She tried to break free from the restraints, thinking that she would fail, but somehow, with now increased strength, ripped both of the restraints off and jerked the wires off her head. She tore the leg restraints away and got up out of her chair. She looked towards the two-way mirror, now in a violent, angry, homicidal rage. Hollered, sorry. "I'm gonna jump to kill you." Sorry, I didn't do that. Hollered, "What the hell did you do to me?" "She's going to experience violent episodes and homicidal tendencies for the first 90 seconds, one of the scientists said to the group. "You're now full of liquid hate, Miss Richardson," Agent Margulis said. "I look like fucking powder." "That's because of your natural skin color went away, Jane." Jane picked up the chair that was in the room and I'm not doing a British accent. Whoa. Jane picked up a chair that was in the room and threw it against the two-way mirror, shattering the glass. She grabbed a hold of one of the doctors who were monitoring her vitals by the collar, slamming him against the wall with incredible strength. I wish that was me. Sorry! Uncalled for. Causing a huge dent. Jesus Christ! Okay.
Still kind of hot. Causing a huge dent. One of the scientists sounded an alarm for armed guards and medical personnel to restrain Jane. One pulled out a syringe, trying to aim for Jane's neck, but Jane took the needle and stabbed the doctor between the eyes and injected an air bubble into him. Two guards with automatic weapons tried to fire at Jane, but she grabbed both of their arms, causing them to fire at each other. One agent fired at Jane, but the bullet didn't faze her a bit. The wound automatically and quickly healed up. She approached the agent who was still firing multiple shots at Jane and snapped his wrist. Jesus! Showing fractured bones and blood splattering everywhere. Unorderly, standing in at 6.5 and 300 plus pounds, tackled Jane, attempting to subdue her, but Jane had the upper hand, flipping him over on his side and snapped him neck into. See, I'm gonna pause here to just say something that I said in the Jeff the Killer one. At the start, the writing was okay with like almost no typos or misspellings, but as the story went on, it kind of seemed like the person wrote it in one go. So as they were writing, they let like misspellings and like typos appear more and more. And this is the exact vibe I'm getting from the Born of Science story. It kind of seems like the author wrote that in one go, and as they were going like more intense into the writing, they didn't spell check, so a lot of the things and like grammatical like weirdness like this over here, it should have said she snapped his neck, but instead it says and snapped him neck into. Doesn't make any sense. So I just wanted to take that moment to say that. And snapped his neck. Just as carnage continued, Jane took the new anti-liquid hate container, broke it against the ground, took a sharp glass shard, and stabbed to death one of the agents. Her clothes now... the scientist said that interjecting again. The scientist said that she would go into homicidal rage for like 90 straight seconds. And like, I don't know about you, but they should have prepared better. Why were there doctors in the room after liquid hate was emptied and she restrained herself? Why didn't you have better reinforcements for the glass and everything so that she wouldn't break free and just let her in the room with her own devices for 90 seconds without going in? You know, I think that these deaths are on the people because they did not plan this out very good. You know what I mean? Like, they were like, she's gonna be in, like, 90 seconds of homicidal rage, you know? Like, she'll just want to kill people. But, you know, we won't have any other type of preparations or anything, but, you know. What do I know? I'm not an FBI agent. Her clothes now stained with blood, amidst the dead, broken, mutilated, bullet-riddled bodies, and those who were out cold. Jane looked at the group who was in the room that now had no mirror and said in an ominous tone, "Thank you for saving me. Thank you for making me what I am. Now I know what I must do. I must kill Jeffrey Woods and end his reign of terror forever. If he is not killed, more lives will be lost. I am much stronger now. I am unstoppable, unkillable. Weapons are useless against me. Anyone who dares cross me will be the last time they'll ever see me. I will kill Jeff the Killer, and no one can stop me." After the 90 seconds, Jane's homicidal tendency ceased, and she was acting normal again. The same doctors who were examining her wanted to do x-rays, MRI scans, and the final examination on her. Jane stood naked as the day she was born. Sorry. I can't. I laugh. As the physicians didn't see any abnormal changes. No defects. She was even more beautiful, despite the fact that she was pale white with black eyes. "Okay, Miss Richardson, I want you to read what is on this chart right here," an eye doctor said. EFPTOZLPEDPEDFCZPFELOPZD 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, Printed by the Century City Atmometry, 10,250 Santa Monica Boulevard, Suite 170, Los Angeles, California, 90067. The eye doctor was flabbergasted that Jane read everything down to the fine print. He took a magnifying glass and saw the address and company name at the bottom of the eye test chart. Wow, he said, dumbfounded. So, Doc, are there any other tests today, or can I just walk out of here and be on my way? Well, are you gonna give me another visual test, or just stand there and stare at me all day? I'm just gonna stand here and stare at you all day, the eye doctor said. Sorry. To the end, it kind of gets a little bit goofy to me, but like I don't mind that much. It's kind of funny. The eye doctor said, seeing Jane fully naked. That's just creepy. So I'll take that as you're free to go. Yeah. Jane took her blood-stained clothes that were in a hospital bag and walked out fully nude, not caring that people are looking at her. On her way home, she saw clothes that were hanging out to dry on a clothesline outside a little suburban home. These clothes matched her frame. They were a pair of black sweatpants, a sleeveless black Under Armour shirt, and a black hoodie. They all smelled sweet as she pulled them off of the clothesline and got dressed in broad daylight. The only article of clothing that weren't bloodstained were her black Skechers sneakers. She slipped on her socks and shoes and called Jessie and told her she was okay. Jessie waited back at home for her sister to return. Also, Mary was waiting. Jessie immediately ran into her big sister's arms, gasping emotionally, giving her a big hug. Mary hugged both Jessie and Jane and gave her her honey bunny a kiss on the lips. Her bunny, honey bunny, that's so sweet. I'm gonna give Mary a sweet voice. Baby, I'm so glad you're okay. I was so worried, Mary said emotionally, glad that Jane was alright. I knew you would come back, Jessie said through tears of joy. Of course I did, Jane replied, giving her little sister a hug, still emotional. Jeff has some competition, so as many other criminals out there. Don't go to sleep. You won't wake up. Jane the killer is coming for you, Jeff. You motherfucker! Sorry, you didn't add that last part. This story is short. I think, is this shorter than the Jeff one? Yeah, I think it is. I think Jeff has like 50 minutes or something, but it's shorter. I liked it. You know, to the end part, it kind of got kind of janky, but, you know. But, like, it was an okay story. Honestly, I feel like the part where her parents, like, kind of made me emotional. Like, it kind of wanted to tear up. Like, it was really sweet, actually. Like, that was actually kind of really sweet. You know what? I'll give you that. You know what? I think, Mr. Angry Dog is the thing, so, like, props to him. You know what? Props to them. I liked it. This was a good read. I recommend reading this, you know, in your spare time if you want to have a little bit of fun, you know, reading OG creepypastas. It was a fun read. I liked it. I liked it. It was nice. Yeah. So yeah, this was a reading of the Jane the Killer, Born of Science, Jane the Killer, OG creepypasta reading. This is gonna be the title. All in caps. Born of Science, Jane the Killer, coming this summer. To theaters near you. Anyways, this is a fun story to read. Yeah, I hope you like this. If you did, leave a like for my voice. I feel it going away. Leave a like. Subscribe if you want to see, more videos. I love how I'm losing steam. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. You know, if you haven't watched the Jeff the Killer, almost hour-long reading, with me saying, stupid things in the middle of it, you go watch that. It's in my channel. And it's in the description. And also, if you want to go see the Jeff the Killer video I did showing my design that I did for him, and obviously after this video I'm gonna post the design video for Jane. I'm still working on the script currently, but it'll be out. But yeah, hope you liked it. Thank you for watching and staying till this end. Bye!